Well, my friends, this is Jay, and I'm back right here at Jay's Knit and Purl Jam with a project that I'm working on. I didn't quite get it finished, but I'm just about to the end. So I thought, let me go ahead and show you what I've been working on and go ahead and get you, for those that would love to give it a try, to get you started too. Well, it's, of course, we're just running out of things to make, people. But it's another beautiful shawl, because you know that I really enjoyed working out of Melissa Leitman's book. Make sure I have it on the screen. And it's called, it's by Melissa Leitman, and it's Knitting Modular, Shawls, Wraps, and Stoles. And I had this book for quite a while, and then once I really got into it, I found that I really enjoyed working out of it, and I just wanted to share things that I've learned, things that I want to learn, and how to use this book in a not really in a modified way, because that's what we're doing, trying to learn how to modify things, because everybody's just not in a place to do, a lot of the large things, and really we, if you're older like me, we really don't have a place for them. So, but we want to still continue to work and to knit and to make and enjoy and to fellowship with each other. So I thought it would be fun to tell you about this book, and for those that want to work along with me, I would make it easy, and those that would love to, you know how to knit, but maybe you're ready now to move up, to improve your skills, and to move from just written every line, 5 or 6 page patterns or something like that, to just simple charts. So we're starting out simple, but there's plenty in here on down the road that's not so simple. So this is the book. All right. And I'll tell you the chart and all that, but let me show you the project. I'm going to set my book right over here. Now, the project is this. Move my beautiful flower. This is a beautiful leaf. Now I'm going to move my arm out of the way. I'm going to hold it up a little bit. It's kind of hard to see the leaf pattern. Can you see it? I'll hold it like that. Can you see? It's a large leaf pattern, which makes it very pretty, and you don't have to do as many repeats because the pattern or the chart is so long. I'm going to tell you all about that too once we get to it. But as you can see, it starts out with, we start with our 5 ridge garter tab. So I won't be going over that again. I have a special video which I will link over in the comment section, because I found, as I looked through this book, I noticed something that I really liked, that I could just kind of cut out the middleman, maybe row 1, 2, and 3, 4, and I can start most of the charts at row 5. So then I went about and I came up with how to make a garter ridge tab. It's working from the top down, and so that you will always be ready to start on row 5. Now, you don't always have to start on row 5, but that's just where most of the shawls that I'm going to be sharing starts. Does that make sense? And some of you have done it. If not, I hope this is the time you're going to give it a try. But what a beautiful, and as it's knit from the top down, so my garter ridge is up here, my little tab, and then it just spreads these beautiful wings. I wish I could get it on here. I always give you some pictures to start with, but until you really see it in your own work, it's hard to see the span. And of course, I could have made it even larger, but as you can see, here is one side of it, and then I'm putting an interesting, simple border. Interesting, but simple, and boy, have I got some help for you to how to come up with something, since we are not doing her patterns. They were just too large and just more than, I just need a little touch of something. So I just wanted a little touch of the lace, and then I wanted to do my own thing, and a lot of you are the same way. So when I got through with all this back lace, I just did not want another pattern of 18 or 24 rows to finish up a bottom. And I'm going to show you. Remember, I said the chart holds secrets, and I'm going to show you how to find the secrets in the charts as we knit off the charts. And of course, here's the other side. I'm just kind of pulling it over. I don't know how neat it is, but once I finish, I'll have a finished video. But I'm trying to not put it all together and just try to give you just what you need, enough to get started. How pretty is that? Is that pretty? Doesn't that look like, remember lime sherbet? I wonder if they still make it. But now that I can't eat that. It's got too much sugar in it, I'm sure. Had a lot of sugar back in the day. I'm sure it's even worse now. But I remember lime sherbet. Okay. All right, so now there is the shawl. And let's see. So now I want to, let's go into the book a little bit, and then we'll talk about the chart or anything else that you need and my yarn suggestion. All right, back in just a minute. All right, so now, of course, as I have shared with you before, this is the book that I'm working out of this year as one of just something to have that I can always go back to. This is Melissa Leitman's knitting modular book, Shawls, Wraps, and Stows. And we've already have worked some charts out of it. It's really a nice stitch book. I just love the setup, and then I decided, well, I'm going to try to use it, try to learn from it, and just modify the charts so that I can use, wear, and enjoy making them. And I'm just sharing it with you. You can get this book on Amazon. I'll put a link down over in the show notes or somewhere. I'll put a link. If Amazon has jacked up the price, then just be smart and just look around the net and see if you can find it at maybe some used bookstores. It's a few years old, so it might be in some used bookstores. So just check it out, or just follow me chart by chart or row by row. All right, so real quick, this time, guess what chart we're working? We're going to work, and this is not a review, I have a book review. I can link that too. This is simply chart number 94. Here's chart 94 right over here. I'll put it in full view there. See it? And you can kind of see her knitted up sample and the chart. And this will be it's an easy chart, but we'll learn a few things as we go. We're going to flip just a few stitches just to get used to it, because the further we go into knitting charts, you're going to come to the place where you have to learn how to reverse or flip stitches in order to work from the chart. What's so good about, of course, a lot of books do this, but this one just fell right at the right time. All the charts have written row by row. So this helps you to kind of, I would say, build your confidence, because if you're not sure, you can always of what you're doing over here, or don't know understand how the symbols work. You can go to the written row, except the wrong side. I don't think she wrote that out. Go to the written row and just check yourself. So it's a great way to learn, improve, and enjoy working from charts. And that's what I'm trying to get if you are a knitter but just want ready to grow. All right, so that's the chart. Now, I'll just lay this here. I'll just sit it right there, so I don't have to hold it. Next thing, I am using my standard number 9 U.S. needles, circular needles. You can start out short, and then as the shawl grows, you will need longer circular needles. You can use a number 8. If you don't have number 9s and you're kind of joining me and you know how to knit, and you say, well, Jay, I don't have 9s, 8s will work fine. We're going down smaller than my regular number 4 weight yarn. I mainly work in number 4 weight only because of being older. Then I try to think of people who are older like me. You got problems with arthritis, and believe me, back in the day, this is what I used to say. Oh, I just don't have those kind of problems. Oh, that has just never happened to me. Well, guess what? I've got those problems, and it has happened to me. I've got shoulder problems, elbow problems, but I still want to be part of the makers community. And I'm just sharing with you how to modify things. We don't need what we used to have to make. We can just enjoy a simple form. Just bring it down a bit. We're still making, still in the game. Look, and the show must go on. But I'm going down to smaller weight yarn, and I suggest the only way I can, like baby weight or light sports weight. I don't know all the different fancy names for all that fancy yarn, but just a smaller yarn. Anything that you could knit on a number 8 or even a number 7. If you're still on the younger side and you say, Jay, I like even smaller yarn when I'm doing my shawls, that's fine. That will work. Just know the smaller the yarn, the smaller the needle, the more you got to knit. So just look, heads up, you just have to knit longer. But a good baby weight or a number 3 weight yarn will work beautiful. So just find you, and I would go ahead and have at least 3 or 4 skeins of that on hand. At least 3, kind of, about how much to judge. You knitted before. And that's it. So now let me see what I need to go to next. Maybe I need to do the shawl, or we might just be ready to get started. Don't forget, and I will link this too, this book is set up. I have made a intro into this knitting modular book that where I'm going to use, and I call it the 5 ridge garter tab. It's the start, and it's 5 ridges, and it's a garter tab because these shawls are knit from top down. So I will link that so that you can go, and you have to have your garter tab ready. We do not start at the bottom. We start at row 5. So nothing else to do but get the chart out, and I will see you at row 5 on chart number 94. All right, back in just a minute. All right, my friends, now here's your first glimpse at the chart. I've enlarged it so that I can see it. You had to watch your eyes and yours too, so that we can see it and work it. Now, what I'm sharing with you on this, and I'll be sharing as we go through the chart, how to prepare your chart. Just working it sometimes just straight out, it just takes a lot of brain power. But if you go through and use some of the simple things that I'm going to show you how to prepare your chart so that you can work, and it will be clear, it'll stand out. It helps you to remember where you are, and guess what? It will cut down on your errors. You won't have near as many problems because we're gonna go through and just kind of make the chart easy to understand. Write in highlights and write in some sequence numbers. Do all our counting beforehand, and you're gonna just love the difference it's going to make and how much quicker you can knit from the chart. So we will take care of that as we start knitting. I'm going to, as I said before, we will start at row 5 at the bottom where you have done your garter ridge tab, top down tab, and I, like I said, put a link to it. So there's nothing to do but let me get set up and we will start knitting from the chart. I hope you enjoy this. I absolutely love it. It's like reading a mystery, a novel to me. Just like reading a book. Or whodunit. Alright, I'll be back in just a minute. Alright, I'm back with the chart. I'm back with my garter tab. Before we get started, let's just take a look at it to see if we're on the same page. This is what you should have, the way your garter tab should look. Let's quick review. You should have 4 stitches for a border on this side, 4 stitches for a border on this side. You have already made an increase if you follow the steps. So now right here, so this is border, border. Now these stitches here is actual shawl that will grow. Alright, right now you should have 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side and 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4. The stitches in the center, and I have white markers to represent that, is the chart. Every one should have 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because that's what row we're starting on row 5. Now, I'll just hold that. This is the right side, of course, because if you turn, you can see the little tail, and you can see it looks like the wrong side. Does that make sense? All right. So now let's just get started here. We are on row 5, and I'm just not going to read it in advance. I'm just going to go ahead and knit it because most of you have been working with me. Now, it's kind of low on here, so I'll bring it close just for a second, just so that you can, of course I took a good picture of the chart so that you could do a screenshot. But I kind of chopped off the bottom because the chart was so large. But you can see row 5 where we are about, where we're getting ready to start. Alright, now I'm going to sit it back. I don't even need my pointer or anything at this point, because we're just getting started. So, I'm going to, of course, do a little of the shawl just to remind you of the increases, just to keep you on track, because we're kind of multitasking. We're doing the shawl and the chart. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and knit your first 4 stitches, which simply represents a border. Alright, then the next 4 stitches, this is the shawl. So when I'm on the right side of the fabric, I slide the marker, and the first thing I see is this long yarn over. Can you see it? Alright, on every right side row that we need to increase, we are going to knit that long yarn over, stop. Now go up and yarn over the needle, and then knit that stitch again. So I have taken that long yarn over and turned it into 3 stitches. Can you see that? 1, 2, 3. Alright, so now we will continue and knit across till we get to the chart section. Alright, now I have white marker, so when I slide the marker, I am in the chart. Row 5, right side of the chart reads, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, then the symbol for slip 2, knit 1, reach back and pass this 2 slip stitches over, then follow that with a yarn over, knit 1, yarn over. So the first, on every right side row, and the first stitch and the last stitch, we have to make a yarn over. There's a yarn over. Now knit 1, then another yarn over. Now I'm going to slip 2 stitches, just slip them just like that. Then I'm going to knit 1. Now stop and reach back and pass those 2 slip stitches over and off the needle. Alright, then If you look at the chart, it says a yarn over, knit 1, and then we have to we have to remember it's late to do the last yarn over, slide the marker. Right, so now you may have to hold this yarn over. See, this one, it wants to creep across. So I'll hold it till I can knit 1, just knit into the shawl stitches until I get up to the next increase. Can you see that long yarn over? I'm going to knit into that stitch, stop, take the needle and yarn over, and then knit into it again. I've turned that stitch into 3. 3 stitches right there. Now I simply slide the marker and I knit the last 4 or the border stitches, just like that. Okay, now I'm using a little heavier yarn, hoping that this will show up better and you can see it. So nothing strange yet. Everything is right on course. Alright, so when I turn the work, next I'm just going to do a few to get you started. Then I will not worry about the shawl and the wrong side until we need to actually work the wrong side. But I would turn the work and I'm just going to knit because we knit the border on every row. Alright, now you have to still increase, so that's what I wanted to remind you, how to increase on the wrong side. You slide the marker. Now watch, yarn over. Now you have to come to the front again so that you can purl across all the stitches until we get to the other shawl increase marker. So I'm just purling across now, just like this. Just wanted to kind of remind you, get you started. And then we're going to, I'm up to the chart. You can see my white marker. Okay, on row 6, as you can see on the chart, you simply just purl. She said this in her instructions, and you can read it over in the written instructions. We're not having to flip it, we're not having to actually change any stitches around yet. So I'm just purling across. Kind of sticky tonight. It's so hot already. So I'm not knitting as smooth as I normally knit. Alright, so I'm up to the marker. I simply slide the marker and continue to purl on. Did I say knit? Well, purl. Purling. Okay. And I'm coming up to where I have to make the shawl increase. And how you make the shawl increase on this end, you purl the last stitch. Now stop. Once you purl that last stitch, you're already in the yarn over position, so all you have to do is slide the marker and hold that yarn over in place. Then just knit the last 4 stitches. So that is not only row 5, but we did the wrong side row 6 also. Alright, now I'm going to check everything and give you a chance to catch up, and I'll come right back. Alright, we are up. We are at row 7 on the chart, so that's where I'm going to start working. I'm at the chart. I'm going to slide my marker for my chart. First thing I have to do is do a yarn over. It says yarn over, now knit 1, then yarn over again. Now I have a symbol leaning to the left, so that's a slip, slip, and then reach back and knit it. A slip, slip, knit, just like that. Then we have a yarn, then we have a knit 1, okay? Sorry, knit 1. Got my eyes off on the wrong row. Alright, then there is a knit 2 stitches together. row 7, knit 2 stitches together, yarn over, knit 1, and then we have to make the last yarn over, slide the marker, and then continue working the shawl. And don't forget our increase. So you just work on up and do your increase just like I've shared with you. And then you, of course, knit those 4-stitch border. All right. That is row 7. Let's take a look. Row 8, you'll simply purl back. I will see you at row 9. All right, we are up to row 9. I've got my little magnet now. It was so close at the bottom I couldn't put my little magnet, but now my magnet is right up under row 9, and we are going to work. I'm already up to the chart section. All right, so I'm just work up to that stitch. I slide my marker. Now I am on row, I'm in the chart in row 9. You yarn over, knit 1, then yarn over again. Now I have a symbol leaning to the left, slip, slip, knit. Now when I'm working large charts or, trying to just save time, like I said, you can do a regular slip, slip, knit like I've been doing, or sometimes I'll just simply knit 2 stitches together through the back loop, which gives me enough of a lean to the left that it works, and then it doesn't slow me down. Does that make sense? But I will read it as a slip, slip, knit. So after that yarn over, I do the slip, slip, knit. Now look, I have to yarn over again. Now we're going to use the symbol in the center, and this will be a landmark, especially when we start doing the repeats. It's simply slip 2 stitches, so I'm going to slip 2, then knit 1, then reach back and pass those 2 slip stitches over and off, and I just take my time and pass them over separately so I know I have them. Now that's the landmark. Look at the stitch so you'll know it. Then there's a yarn over. Now I have a symbol leaning to the right, which is a knit 2 stitches together, yarn over, knit 1, and then we have to, or you have to remember to make the last yarn over. Now when I slide that marker, you may have to hold this yarn over. See, sometimes it wants to creep across. So just hold it in place, put your needle in, hold it in place, and knit up to your next increase for your shawl. Just like that. But the main thing is, now we're getting ready, or we're setting up nice landmarks that we will be able to use as we continue up. All right, now that was row 9. Row 10, by her instructions, we simply purl back, making our increases on the back side, and I will see you at row 11. We are up to row 11 of our chart, and just to remind you, this is out of Melissa Leekman's book. This is chart number 94. It's a lot easier just to have the number than trying to give everything a name. So I'm up to the chart section, so I slide my marker, and of course, row 11, you start with a yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, then there's a slip, slip, knit, things to the left, yarn over, knit 1, stop, because we're up to that landmark stitch, and that stitch takes it takes 3 stitches. So I see 3 stitches right there waiting for me. So I'm going to slip 2 of those stitches, knit 1, Then I'm going to reach back and pass the 2 I slipped over and off. That's my landmark for the center. Alright, then right after that, there's another knit 1, yarn over, then knit 2 stitches together. It leans to the right, so knit 2 stitches together, then another yarn over, knit 1, and you must end with the yarn over so that the shawl grows and the chart grows along too. And then now you have to hold that yarn over here and then just continue to knit up to the next increase marker, which will be for your shawl. I'll just do a little bit. I'm really trying to stick with just working the chart. Now you see a little bit of what we have. If you think you have forgotten to do one of your stitches, you can always count each section and see if they match. Like how many stitches I have here, how many I have on this side. That's just little ways of checking yourself. But this is after we work row 11. Row 12, we will simply purl back, making the increases, the appropriate increases. I will see you at row 13. We are at row 13 of our chart, so I'm just going to knit on over to row 13. Okay, I'm up and ready to go. I slide my marker, row 13. It says yarn over, then I'm going to knit 1, yarn over, and then I have to knit. Now this is a good little tip. Go ahead, if there's a long span of empty boxes, you can go ahead and count them and then put in the number. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. That way it doesn't slow you down and have to count. So after the yarn over, I'm to knit 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we have our landmark symbol again right there in the middle. So there should be, I'm looking for 3 stitches. That's what it takes to work that symbol. There's 3 there. So I slip the first 2, knit 1, reach back and pass the 2 slip stitches over and off. Okay, now after the symbol, I have, because I went ahead and counted and put my number in, knit 4. Just saves you a lot of time. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then yarn over, then outside the box, there's a knit 1, and then we have to add the last yarn over. So there's the last yarn over. Slide the marker. I kind of hold it in place to make sure it doesn't, that it stays on the side that it should. And then I continue to knit up the heel to the next increase marker for the shawl. You know, we increase on the front and on the wrong side of the shawl. So that is, I'm going to open it out now. Now I'm going to turn it so you can see when you're wearing it. This is the direction. I'll pull it off the needle. Put it down here. Now, this is row 13. Hopefully you have something like that. Alright, so now row 14, of course, is the wrong side. So we will purl back, but make your increases where you should, and I will see you at row 15. Oh, it's going to get a little interesting now. Not hard, but just a little change. Alright, back in just a minute. Alright, we are up, ready to work row 15, the right side of our chart. Alright, so now the first thing I have to do, of course I slide my marker and I look, and after I put my yarn over, because every right side row starts and ends with a yarn over, so yarn over. Now look, there are 1, 2, 3 boxes, and there I look to see if I have my 3 friends. There they are, 3 stitches So I knit 1, 2, and 3. Then there's a yarn over, but I want you to stop before we do the yarn over. We're going to go over and read what's next, since this is a little different than what we've been working down here. It's not hard. So here's a yarn over. Then after that, all of a sudden she has these little dots. There's like 3 dots. So now listen, the way to just kind of, first of all, you can always go to your legend or your abbreviations and things. So that's what I did, just to double check. And so when it's on the right side, which this is a right side row, she wants you, instead of knitting these 3, she wants you to purl those 3 stitches. Just real simple. She put a dot so that you wouldn't just knit across. You would stop, look at the dot. If you wasn't sure, you can go check the abbreviations or her key or legend, and she wants you to simply purl. So now watch. We have knit 3 stitches. We knit 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to do a yarn over. There's a yarn over, but now I need to get into the purl position, so I've got to bring the yarn back around in front. So it's really, let's do it again. You do the yarn over, and then you come around in front so that I can be in the purl position, since I've already established that she wants 3 purl stitches. So I'm going to purl 1, 2, and 3. Stop. The next symbol is our little landmark symbol, where we know that we got to put the yarn in back to work that symbol, because we've just worked at all these other places. So I'm going to, after I put my yarn in back, I'm going to slip the first 2 stitches, knit 1, reach back and pass the slip stitch over and the second one over. All right, now let's look. What do we have next? Oh my gosh, I see 3 more dots now. 1, 2, 3. I see 3 more dots. So that means I have to bring my yarn to the front just to purl. There's no yarn over right there, so I just bring the yarn to the front of the needle and then purl 1, 2, and 3. Stop. After I do 1, 2, 3, the 3 purl stitches, there's a yarn over. Well, once you're through purling a stitch, if you look, you're already in the yarn over position. See it? See, I just purled that last stitch, and I'm in the yarn over position, so all I have to do, it says after the yarn over, knit 1. So I'm going to go ahead and put my needle in. There's a yarn over, and I just knit the next stitch. And then outside the box, there's 2 more. 1, 2. So I'll knit the next 2. That's how many stitches I have left. And I have to add the last yarn over. Slide the marker. And we're in business. Let me just knit a few more just so I can stretch it out. So that's row 15. Okay. Just a few things you have to just take your time and remember what to do when you're going from a yarn over to a purl stitch. All right. Now, of course, you have to work row 16 back. I will meet you at row 17. Take your time now. All right, we are up to row 17 of our chart. So I'm going to finish these stitches, then slide my marker. Of course, it's a right side row, so I'm going to start with a yarn over. And then I see the next 3 are 3 empty boxes, which represents knit. So I'm going to knit 3. So I should see my 3 friends. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure your yarn over is on. Oh, my yarn over has been sliding off the other side of my marker. Oh, so knit 1, 2, and 3. Then there's another yarn over. Then I have a slip, slip, knit. The stitch is leaning to the left of the symbol. So I do a slip, slip, knit. Then I yarn over. Then I knit 2 stitches. I'm right here. 1, 2. 1, 2. Now I'm back in the center, and I need 3 stitches to make this symbol. So I find my 3 stitches. I go ahead and slip the first 2, then knit the last stitch. Now I go back and pass those slip stitches over and off. So there's my landmark symbol right in the center. Should line up with all the others that we've done. See? Alright, then after the landmark symbol, you see I have 2 knit stitches. So knit 2, 1, 2, then a yarn over. Now my symbol leans to the right, so I'm going to knit 2 stitches together, yarn over, and guess what? My 3 friends are waiting for me. Outside the box, it says knit 3. 1, 2, 3. And there they are. So I'll knit 1, 2, and 3, and then I have to remember to add the last yarn over. So I yarn over, slide that marker, try to hold that yarn over in place, and then just knit up the heel to my shawl increase marker. I'll just knit a few, and then okay, I'll just stop now, turn it around so you can kind of see. I'll pull it off. See how that landmark stitch in the center should line up like a center spine almost, just down the... Okay, so now that's row 17. Row 18, let me look before I say anything. I don't see anything other than what we've been doing. It's just to purl back, but make the appropriate increases where they're supposed to be. I will see you at row 19. I'm letting you catch up, but take care now. Just slow it down. Alright, back at row 19. We are up to row 19 of our beautiful leaf motif chart. So, I'm just going to get up and then slide the marker. Of course, we start with a yarn over. I yarn over, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need to knit 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then there's yarn over. So there's 1 yarn over. Then I knit 1. The next symbol says slip, slip, knit. Okay. Then there's a yarn over, stop. Because right here, we're right here at this yarn over, and the next thing I see is one of those dots again. So we've already established she wants us to purl on the right side when we have the dot. So, but from a yarn over, I have to come around to the front of the needle again so that I'm in the purl position to do that 1 stitch. Don't ask me why that she put, I don't know. I do that 1 purl stitch. Now stop and put the yarn in back, because the center stitch, I need 3 stitches right here. Okay, so I have my 3, but now the yarn is in back. So I can work it just like we've worked all these. I slip 2 stitches, then I knit 1 stitch, reach back and pass the slip stitches, both slip stitches over and off. Okay, now I got to look ahead. I see another dot on the side. That means to purl. So I have to bring my yarn in front. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and purl that 1 stitch, stop, because the next stitch is a yarn over. As soon as I purl that stitch, look, I'm already in the yarn over position, so all I have to do is put my needle in. There's the yarn over right there, and knit the next stitch. Well, got to back out. I didn't look ahead enough. Right here, the yarn over, but there's knit 2 stitches together. So I purl. Here's my yarn over already in position. So now I'm going to stick my needle under 2 stitches. See? It's knit 2 stitches together. So I have the purl stitch, a yarn over, knit 2 stitches together. Then there's knit 1, then yarn over, and right outside the box I have 1, 2, 3, 4 empty boxes, so I need to knit 4 after that yarn over. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And of course we have to end your right side row with the yarn over, slide the marker, and hold that yarn over kind of in place as you start to knit this the shawl section. We're working our way up to the next shawl increase. And this is what you should have. I'll just knit a few more stitches, just so that you can see it. There it is in that direction, but I'm going to turn it so that it's in the direction that you will recognize, that you can see. Of course, this is not steamed or anything. Well, let me look before I go any further. We've just finished row 19. We've taken care of everything. We have a nice center landmark stitch in the center. Row 20 is the wrong side. And I'm looking across before I say anything. I don't see anything, so that's our regular purl row. So I'm going to purl back to row 20. And guess what? Row 21 is when we'll start flipping some stitches as we work this center section. But right now, let's just purl back on row 20 and stop. I will meet you back at row 21. Well, my friends, I hope you have had a chance or a little extra time to work the stitches we worked together and to kind of, I'll say, be caught up so that we can continue on up this chart. Yes, this is a longer chart. There's 36 rows. But hey, you gotta grow when it's time to grow. But I'm trying to keep it fun and keep it easy. Now, when I left, we had finished and we were up to start working row 21. So that's what I've done. I've done the wrong side row, which was row 20. So now here's row 21. We're ready to get started. But before we get started, I want to go over the chart a little bit, and I'm going to bring it close for a second, for a minute or two. And then these are little things that will help you as we get ready. Because, yes, this is just the first time or going through the chart. But then once we start doing repeats, these little things I'm going to share with you now will be of help to you. The first thing I want you to do, since we have most of the chart has been just pretty standard, we worked the pattern on the right side, and then she said in the instructions, just purl back on the wrong side. Well, we're going to be adding just a hint, just a little bit now, not too much yet, we're just getting there, on the wrong side rows. So I suggest that you take a highlighter. Now, this is how I do it, and I'm just sharing with you how it keeps me on track, and anything I can do to help you, I want to share. All right, my yellow highlighter is for when I want to mark things that that I need to work on the right side row. That way I'll always know, no matter when I pick up a chart, whether it's a week from now or 2 months from now, and trying to figure out where I am, I will know that if I see something highlighted, it's for the right side, or Then pick another highlighter color. It can be blue, it can be pink, it can be, I use orange. That lets me know if I pick up this chart 2 months from now, I know immediately, okay, I got to pay attention to the rows that are highlighted in orange. They are wrong side. So I wouldn't use the orange on anything containing, pertaining to the right side. So I would just simply mark those rows. You're going to be surprised once we start repeating how these simple little things, that elementary things. The next thing is, when you have a long span of boxes, of the white boxes. Now, in her legend, in her symbol section of the book, or her abbreviations, she tells us what the white boxes represent. On the right side is a knit stitch. On the wrong side is a purl stitch, because we've been purling all these white boxes. All right, but when there's a long span of them, go ahead and count the boxes to save yourself. The less you have to take your eye off the chart or go back and recount, the less mistakes you're going to have. So I've already pre-counted all these boxes on the right side row and the wrong side row. Like here, right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I just took a pen and wrote 6. Now I don't have to double check or take my eye off the ball. Right here is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, now normally you would think, well, it's 3 over here. Maybe it's only 3 over here where you'd be off. And then over here it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've already marked it. And any place, like I said, now I can go back and do my right side row. I forgot row 23. But the longer they get as we go up the chart, this is what you're going to start doing. You're going to fill in all these boxes. You're going to fill in to know how many stitches this long span of white boxes represent. Does that make sense? I hope I didn't botch that. It's just very easy, but I'm telling you what a difference it will make in you not making mistakes. Because as you can see, once we start to repeat, these rows are going to get long and very, yeah. But look, we're moving on up. All right, so let me think if there's anything else, because I want to get started on row 21. So I'm going to sit that back here. I'm going to check my camera. In fact, I will be right back. I'm going to check my camera and everything and make sure you can see it. And of course, I will make sure you get good screenshots of that so you can print the charts. We'll probably do it maybe in 2 sections because the chart is so long, so that you'll get a nice close-up clear shot. Okay? All right, back in just a minute. So I'm coming up to the chart on row 21. It is a right side row and should be just fine. All right, when I get to the chart, of course, every right side row begins and ends with a yarn over. So I'm going to yarn over, and I've already pre-counted to save myself a lot of time. And so it says knit 4. So 1, 2, 3, oops, and 4. Had to move my foot there. So there's a yarn over and then knit 4. Now, if you go on over, you see I've already pre-counted, and it says knit 4 again. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, stop. We have a dot. All right, we've already said that on the right side, she wants us to purl that 1 stitch. So I just simply need to bring, there's no yarn overs or anything, so I just bring that yarn to the front after I've knit 4. Now I'm going to purl the next stitch right there. Then I take my yarn to the back, and then I'm going to have knit 3. I've already counted it right there in the center. So I knit 1, 2, 3, and there's another dot on this end here, right there. So I need to bring the yarn to the front, purl that stitch. You can kind of see where it falls. You can kind of pay attention a little bit to see how these stitches fall. There's the purl stitch right there. Then yarning back right away so I won't forget. And now all I have to do, since I've already pre-counted, and just knit across and then knit on to the end. So after the dot, I knit 3, 1, 2, 3, and then outside of the box, it says knit 5. I'm going to just check before I even go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have the 5 stitches, so I know that I'm okay. So now 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And of course, on the right side row, I have to end with the yarn over. So I put the last yarn over, I slide the marker, hold that marker in place, and work up the heel to the shawl increase. You hadn't forgot about your shawl increase, have you? I'm just messing with you. You didn't forget the shawl increase, did you? On each end. Oh, you know, we have one on the front and we have a different increase on the back side, on the wrong side. All right, so there is row 21. Really easy. All right, so now we're gonna, I'll finish around, then I'll come back and we will work row 22. But look, we will be coming. Sometimes I'll even do this too. Let me show you, just to help my eye. It's all in trying to. I'll go ahead and put myself a little. I do anything I can, people, not to make a mistake. Sometimes I'll flag it like this. Okay, Jay, now get your mind on this row. Forget about the others, because we hadn't been used to working on the wrong side, you know, on any kind, or watching for any kind of pattern. So I will see you back at row 22. Normally I'd come back next one, but we need to work row 22. All right, back in just a minute. Well, we made it to row 22, which is the wrong side. As you can see, I'm on the wrong side of my fabric. As I come up to my chart, right there between my markers. Now on the shawl section, you're just purling across as usual, just like we were doing. Nothing changed. And then of course on the wrong side, you don't have to worry about yarn overs, whether you at the beginning or at the end of the row. Alright, so up to row 22, I slide my marker, and the first thing I see is that I have this orange line. And I've already set for my chart knitting, you know, process, I will always use orange to represent a wrong side row. I don't flip back and forth. But now you can try it any way you want to. Have your own system. That's fine. All right, once I slide the marker, look, I've already pre-counted all these empty boxes in little groups so that I don't have to take my eye off the ball or miscount. So automatically I see it says purl, because we were purling. She on the wrong side. She didn't change that. The white boxes or empty boxes, we purl. So it says purl 6. Right? Just to start that row, purl 6. I've already pre-counted, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right. Then, as you go inside the box towards the center, it says purl 3. See, I'm right inside the box, right here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, purl 3. So that's 1, 2, 3. Now we could have just done purl 9, but sometimes you take your eye off the ball and you can't remember where you were, just like I just did now. So that's 2, 4, 6, and then 1, 2, 3. Then look, the next stitch is the little dot. Well, if we're on the wrong side and we're purling, what would the dot represent on the wrong side? Well, it would tell me that I need to knit that one stitch. So I would take my yarn in back. You can double count, make sure you have the right number of the purl stitches, and then go ahead and knit that one. Okay, now stop, because we're on the wrong side. I got to bring my yarn back to the front of the work, and in the center it says purl 3. So now I'm going to purl 3. 1, 2, and 3. Stop again. There's another dot on this side, right there. Alright, so I need to put my yarn to the back, knit that one stitch, bring the yarn back to the front, and I've already pre-counted to save myself time. It says purl 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then on the outside of the box, it says purl 5. Alright, now let me just show you this real quick. I got scared right away, right on camera. I thought, oh my gosh, because I went ahead and counted. I thought, let me just count 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my gosh, I'm missing a stitch. Oh, did I make it? No. Check over here and see if that yarn over from the previous row slipped over. Seems like for some reason I can't keep them on the right side, but always check. See that yarn over right there? I'm going to bring it real close. My yarn over. Don't panic, just kind of lift it up, or do like this. We'll just go ahead and do this. I'll show you the easy way. As long as you see it, it says purl 5. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you look for that stitch, and you can tell that's a yarn over. See how long it is? You know it doesn't belong on this side, so you can take your mark off if that will help you real quick, and then just purl it. I'm just trying to help you do it in the simplest way. And then put your marker back on. And then continue to purl the rest of the shawl. So if you think you're going to come up, or if you feel or look and you count it, and it like, oh my gosh, I'm short right here on the end. Most likely the yarn over has just slipped on the other side or the wrong side of the marker. But check, and you see how much pre-counting those empty boxes really help. Alright, so that is row 22 on the wrong side. We have worked, and now we have some little knit stitches, and if you look real close you can see them. I can see them right there. I don't know how close I am, but I can see them right there. My little knit stitches. Alright, now you will of course finish that row. We'll be on the right side. The right side row is row 23. I will see you back at row 23. We are on the right side. We are at row 23. So and just looking ahead, this will be pretty simple, these last couple of rows that we'll work together. Alright, so the first thing I see, I'm coming up to the chart. Row 23 is the right side, so now I have to put my mind back on the right side. You have to start with a yarn over. Sit right here. Here we are. Yarn over. And then I've already pre-counted. So it says knit, because we knit on the right side, knit 5. So 1, 2, 3, that's 4 and 5. And then inside the box, you see I've marked knit 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alright, we're up to our first dot. We're moving in this direction, the right side. We're reading in this direction, and there's our first dot. And of course, on the right side, if we're knitting on the right side, then the dot means bring the yarn in front. We need to purl that one stitch. And before you do that, take a look. You should be purling on top of a purl stitch from the previous row. Can you see that? I don't know if that's showing up or if I'm in the camera range right. But alright, so I purl that one stitch. Stop. Now put the yarn in back, because now I need to knit 3. So I knit 1 right in the center. 1, 2, 3. And you can check your landmark and see if you're in the center. And I am. Then we have another dot on the opposite side of the center. On this side right there. I've knit 3. Now there's the second dot. And of course I need to bring the yarn to the front so that I can make a purl stitch. And there's a purl on top of a purl. So I'll purl just that one stitch. Then take the yarn right to the back again so that I will be in the knit position. And it says knit 3. After the dot, knit 3. 1, 2, and 3. Then I have the long part that's left. It says knit 6 because I've already counted it. Let me go over here. I like to do this sometimes. 2, 4, 6. I have it. So I knit 6. 1, 2, oops. That's 3, 4, 5, and there's that yarn over from the row down below. 6, and then I have to make a new yarn over to end the row. We have to start and end with the yarn over. So there's my yarn over right there. Slide the marker, and now hold it on this side and continue to knit up the shawl on this side. And when I open it up, you really can't tell, the motif doesn't pop out until you really get a lot of stitches and we start doing a repeat, and then slowly these beautiful lacy leaves, and if you use the thin yarn like I suggested, or a little thinner than this, oh, they're just going to look so fabulous. Alright, so now I need to finish up this part of the shawl, and guess what? We'll have to come back and we will be on row 24 over here, reading in this direction. And look, I've already highlighted it with my orange, so I know that's the wrong side, and I've already pre-counted all my little empty boxes. Alright, I will see you on the wrong side on row 24. Alright, we are up to row 24, which is a wrong side row. And as you can see, I have my orange highlight to represent the wrong side. We are reading in this direction. I have already marked my little individual box sequence so that I don't have to stop and count right in the middle of working the row. So I have purled across my shawl section, and I'm coming up to the last stitch, so I am purling. It is the wrong side. I slide my marker, and the first thing on row 24, it says purl 7. So I purl 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 5, 6, and 7. Because I pre-counted those boxes just to help me. Alright, then inside the box it says purl 3. I have 3 more boxes. Ooh, I have little gnats flying around. I'm sitting right under the window trying to get a breeze. Okay, so purl 3. I'm right here inside the box. Okay, purl 3, 1, 2, and 3. And then I have a dot. And since I'm on the wrong side, then the dot must represent I need to knit a stitch. So I put the yarn in back, and look closely. You can see it right there. You're going to be putting a knit on top of a knit stitch. I don't know if you can see that, but you'll see it on yours. So I knit that one stitch. Now I need to bring my yarn back to the front, because the next sequence I see is purl 3. Right there in the center, purl 3. So 1, 2, 3. That's my little center section. Now I'm up to another dot. And I put my yarn to the back because I need to knit one stitch, and you will be knitting on top of 2 knit stitches. You'll be able to see them on this purl side. So I simply knit that one stitch. Now I have to stop and bring the yarn back to the front because I am on the wrong side working. And the next sequence says purl 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then the last, make sure I got 4. The last sequence right here, it says purl 6. And I'm going to check and make sure that my yarn over didn't fall on the wrong side. So I have 2, 4, 6 stitches left. Right on the money. Right on the money. So now I'm just purling across my chart section, row 24. I get to, and I have that, see that long yarn over from before. I purl it, I slide the marker, and I continue to purl the shawl section on this side. And of course I will make an increase like we've been making on the shawl section, front and back. Okay, now let me just do a few more, then I'm going to stop, and then we're going to talk a few minutes and tell you what I'm going to have you to do. Okay, of course you don't see much on this side. This is the wrong side, but I'm going to bring this close. Can you see those little knit rows popping out? That's where we work the stitch, the opposite stitch on the opposite side. There it is right there. Okay, so now, of course, I need to complete that. And then when I turn the work, I will be on the right side, and that will be row 25. I'm going to move my little marker up just so we can talk about it. All right, row 25, from this point on, see if I'm still in camera range. Yeah. All right, row 25, right here. It's a right side row, and we're just going to work it just as we started down here. There's nothing strange. You know the symbols. Everything is just right. All the wrong side rows from this point up to the top of the chart, you just purl across. There's no switching stitches or anything. So you just purl. So you just, like I said, like we started, knitting across and then purling back, knitting across. All right, so I'm going to have you do that, and just as you find time, and you would go all the way up to row 36, which is the last row, and it's a purl row. You will purl that row and then stop, because once we come back, and I'll work mine off camera, of course, and get caught up, give you time to get caught up, we will come back and I will meet you at row 13. Row 13 starts to repeat, where we will start repeating over and over, however many repeats we need to work all the way up again. So that's for you to just, like I say, try to catch up, take your time, go ahead and pre-mark all your little large spaces. You can just mark all of them. I stop right here, but I'm going to go ahead and mark all of my spaces so that it just saves you time. If you take your eye off, you don't have to go back. Now, I got to recount again. You will know exactly where you are. And like I said, there's nothing to reverse. Everything we have covered when we worked this section. So now, all I can say is happy knitting. And I will see you back, like I said, at row 13, so we can start repeating. This will be the end of, this is end of part 1. This is episode 189, part 1. So I hope you just, I hope you've gotten a lot out of this. I hope this is really something that you really want to do. I just find it very interesting. It's like, to me, it's like reading a good mystery book. I just enjoy it. And I just want to share it with you. So, like I said again, happy knitting, and I will see you back at part 2, and I will meet you on row 13. All right. See you later.